Hi, this is QSG. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a concrete staircase takeoff. So first, on our takeoff, we have this takeoff list, which is pretty short and simple. By the way, basically it's concrete stuff. The strike off and cure, and then formwork stuff and reinforcement and balustrating. That's it. So there are these items like concrete to toe waste, or concrete to waste, or concrete to stairs, concrete to landing. I just want us to understand these components of a staircase so as to so that you can know what you are actually calculating. Okay, let's move on to this gauge here. Okay, first on our takeoff list we had concrete to toe, and the toe is basically this part, or which is underground. If you take a look at a already built staircase, you won't even see a toe, but you will just see this first stair. Okay, so basically a toe is there to support the weight of the staircase, or to distribute the weight of the staircase to the ground, or to the hard core of the foundation, right? Okay, so instead of the staircase resting on the slab, here it will rest on the toe, so as the weight of the staircase will be distributed to the what, to the ground. Okay, so and then we move on to the waist. So this is the waist between this dotted line and this solid line. This is the waist for the staircase. Okay, if you take a look at a already built staircase, you won't notice the demarcation between these two, the stairs and this waist. Actually, to be a solid, a single solid component. Okay, so the reason why when we're taking off, this actually the reason why there's this demarcation when taking off is to make calculations easier, right? So like we're going to calculate the waist separately from the stairs. Hope you understand on that one. And then we'll move on to stairs. The stairs are this rectangular part, the rectangular part of what, of the staircases. Or okay, and then we'll move on to the landing. The landing is this platform, or this area between the first and the what and the second, sorry, between the ground floor, or which is between the floors, where just like taking a look at this diagram, you might visualize what it is actually. So that's our landing. So okay, let's just put it as a area, or yeah, but basically landing is between two floors. That's why there's a landing. Okay, so now we know what's a landing, what's a stairs, waist, and then we move on to the riser. The riser is this edge, or the side of a stair, and right, and then there is a going or a tread. So this will be the horizontal side of a stair. Okay, hope you understand on all these components of a staircase. So basically, everything under concrete works, concrete to toe, to waist, to stairs, to landing. It's what, it's in cubic meters, and then strike off and cure, it's in square meters, and then all formwork items are in square meters, and then we have the reinforcement, and then we have balustrating. But these two, I'm going to make a separate video, because on reinforcement we need to have a more understanding on bar bending. So yeah, it's a bar bending schedule and concrete detailing. Okay, so and then we move on to our calculations, right? So on our calculations, yeah, we'll start with the first item on the takeoff, which is concrete to toe. So our toe has a length of 1000 meters, sorry, it's 1000 millimeters or 1 meter, the width of 300 millimeters, and the height or thickness of 170 millimeters. So basically it will be like uh, the length of a staircase going this side, right? The length of the staircase, and then times this height, times this width, then times the height. Okay, hope you get that one. So our length for the staircase is what? It's 1 meter. Okay, so take these measurements, put them on the dimension column, multiply the 3, we get 0.05. Let me just put cubic millimeters, and then our description is this one, which reads 25 megapascal reinforced vibrated concrete to top. And then we move on to waste calculation. We'll be calculating our waste on the waste column. Wow. Okay, so we calculate our waste. So here, if you notice our waste, if we draw that imaginary line, our waste will format a parallelogram. Okay, so yeah, this is our staircase here. So if you just put an imaginary line here, it will format a parallelogram. So we need to get this horizontal distance up to this end here. So the horizontal distance and the vertical distance, right? So for us to get the horizontal distance, in case if the staircase is like this one without the overall measurement, you just multiply this 300 times what? Times the number of stairs up to the point, up to this point where you want where it will start or end. um okay, so here there are 10 stairs, so which means it's 300 times what? Times 10. So for us to get the vertical distance, we just say the risers times what? Times 10. If it is up to this point, which is 10, which will have 1700 millimeters or 1.7 meters. So move on to our calculation here. So you see we have 3 meters and 1.7. If we do since we want to get the length of the what? Of the waist. So here you see it will form a right angle triangle. So in order to get the length of the waist, we will just find h in using what? A Pythagoras theorem, in which is h is equals to square root of 1700 squared plus 3000. Sorry, it's not 3300, but it's 3000 squared. And then we get 3448.19, which is our length for the waist. And then times what? Times the width, which is the same width of the staircase. And then times the height, which is 300, right? Okay, so this one is the height or thickness. So it's the height or thickness. Okay, so here if we take those dimensions, we put them here, multiply those three, and then multiply it by 2, we get, sorry, it's not 2 comma, here we get, sorry, this one was a mistake here. So instead of 3000, 3.712, we have 3 comma what? We have 3.45. So it's 3.45 times 1 times 0.3 times 2, and then we get 2.07. So please, here there was a mistake here in, so the correct answer is this one, 2.07. So that will be what? Our volume. So it's 2.07 cubic meters. right? And then we move on to landing. Our landing is basically a rectangular prism, so it's length times width times height. This is our length, which is 2100, and our width 1230, and our height, which is 300, or thickness, it's height or thickness. So if we look at our landing here, so the length, it's what, it's 1000 from this point to this point, it's 1000. And then if you notice it, it then moves, it produces to the wall here. So which means we are going to include the what, the thickness of the wall, which is 230. So it's 1000 plus 230, which give us 1230. So our length, it's here. Let me show you the length where I got it from, but it will be provided on the plan if you take a look at it. So this will be the landing height. So if you are at this, from this point to this point, this is our measurements, 2000. So it's 2200, right? Okay, so it's 2200. So that's our length for what, for the landing. So which means I also copied a wrong, which means I also copied the wrong what, a wrong. Okay, it wasn't a wrong measurement. Actually, it was a wrong plan. I think this one was edited. I used this one for the calculation, which is 2100. So you move on here. So that's 2100, 1230, and then 300. So our length was the only difference from that other plan. Okay, so if you multiply those three, you only have one landing. So it's these measurements only, we get 0.77. Okay, so that's it for, and then we move on to calculating concrete to stairs. So on concrete to stairs, right, well, basically we'll be calculating this. This is just a simple illustration of a stair, which is basically a rectangle triangle. So you only need this part, the 300 and the 170, which is our riser and the going. So you all know that the area of a triangle is what, it's half base times height. So in this case, we need what, the volume of a triangular prism, because remember it's a staircase, which means this stair will form what, a triangular prism going this other side, which means it's the volume of a triangular prism is what, is the area times what, the length. Okay, so our area, yeah, you take a look at this calculation. We have 0.30 and 0.17, which is these two numbers, right? So in order for us to get the area of a triangle, we say times what, times half. Now we have an area for a triangle. And then to get the volume of the trapezium, and then we then say times what, times 1 now. And then there are 10 stairs, but per flight, and then there are 2 flights of stairs, there are 2 flights, which means it's 10 times 2. So basically for us to, so if we focus on this part, it will be area of a triangle. And then if you focus on this whole part, and then it's the area of a trapezium, sorry, the volume of a trapezium times what, times the number of stairs times the number of flights. Hope you understand on this one. We get 0.51 cubic meters. So that's in cubic meters, right? So this is our description. Remember, if you move on to a different page, you start again with the description. You don't say it all. So okay, and on another thing, I'm going to make a another video based on the rules of the takeoff, what you should do, or how to do a takeoff. So I'll make that video, maybe it will come next or after the next video, which might be the door takeoff. Okay, back to the measurement, so to the calculations. We move on to strike off and cure. So strike off and cure, we have the stairs, which are basically we'll be focusing on the top of the stairs, in which we have the length and the width. Our length what the width of the staircase, in this case it will be our length, and then our width become the what the going, which means it's 1 meter by 0.3, and then you put those two here and then multiply by the number of stairs times 2, you get 6 cubic meters. So our description already strike off and cure top of what stairs, and then move on to detour landing. So on landing, so it will be 2,1 times 1,23, and then we get that number. So that will be what 2,58 cubic meters. So sorry, it's not 2,58 square meters. Both these are square meters because we're just focusing on the top surface area, on the surface area of the concrete work. So we move on to formwork. So on formwork, is formwork to the side of the stair, which means we're focusing on, we're dealing with an area. So the area of a stair, of the side of a stair, which means it will be 300 times this times half, because area of a triangle is half base times height. So here is the area, and then times the number of stairs times what, times 2, because we have 2 flights, and then times 2 because it's for both sides of the stairs, both sides of the staircase. Remember, you have 2 sides to make your formwork, and then this is our description, which reads wrote softwood formwork to side of stairs. This is our calculation, in which it's this so the correct answer is this one, 1,02 square meters. And then the two side of risers. So basically the risers are just the what, the length of the length times width, the width becoming what, 170. So if we get back to our, so that we're on the same page here. So if you get back to this sectional view of our plan, right? Let's use this, the first flight, right? Okay, yeah, let's get back to what. So I'll just explain a little bit. So for the side of stairs, we're using this triangle, right? Formwork to side of stairs, and then formwork to what, to the risers. It's this part we will do. I will just also, I'll include a photo of a formwork for staircase, if possible, but it's also on my Instagram account. So this, it basically is just this 170 times the width of the staircase. So that will be formwork of what, of the risers times the number of risers which are in the staircase, right? So for the side of stairs, basically is the formwork which is going to get here in the opposite side times the number of stairs times the number of flights. Okay, hope you understand on that one also. So you move on to site of landing. So site of landing, here we have 1000 plus 100 plus plus 100 plus 1230 by 2 plus 2100, and then if you add those, and then you get 5,660 or 5,66 meters, or our width is 1,70, and then you multiply those two, you get what? 0,17. Sorry, if you multiply those two, you get 0,96. Okay, for you to understand where did I get all the 1,000 and the like. Okay, so it's basically part of the perimeter of what, of the staircase times. Okay, so we are going to calculate. We are not including this part because it's not there is no side of what, of the landing, but we're going to start here. So here, because this is the first flight, this is second flight, right? So here there is what, there is there is formwork here, which is in which it will be 1,000 here and also 100 here, 100 millimeters. So there is your 1,000, there is your 100, and then 1,230 by 2 for both these sides. Don't include the wall. The wall most of the times won't. So don't include, don't consider the wall and say, I know it homework will be covered by the wall. Usually, when they're doing concrete works, they will start with, when they're doing what, they will start with concrete works, which will include the column and then the staircase, and then later on they are going to what, encase the staircase with what, with the brickwork. So here it's 1,200 including this part which is under the brickwork. So hope you understand that. And then there is 2,100 the length. Okay, so if we move on to, and then we move on to soffit of the soffit of waist, or the underside of the waist. So that will be 3,45 by 1,000, sorry, or 3,45 by 1 by 2, get 6,90. So that's for the waist. The soffit will be the underside. If you recall what I said on the takeoff, on the takeoff list, when I was explaining the takeoff list. So the soffit is basically the base of the staircase. Okay, and then we move on to this part. This the last part of today's video, which is the landing, soffit of the landing. So these are the dimensions. If we take these dimensions, put them on the dimension column, multiply the two, we get 2,58. We get 2,58 square meters. So that's it for today's video. We're going to continue on which we'll be focusing on reinforcement and bolstering. Okay, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.